I knew something was off the moment he walked into the gala, like he owned the place. Carter Ellison, polished in a custom Navy suit, flashing that smug grin like he hadn't just burned down everything we built together. And there I was, standing in 4-inch heels and a black velvet dress I no longer wore for him, but for the woman I had spent years trying to remember. Me. You ever been in a room full of people clapping for the man who betrayed you? It's a strange kind of silence, loud, dizzying, suffocating. And that night in downtown Atlanta, under a chandelier worth more than my first investment round, I decided I wasn't going to be silent anymore. It wasn't always like this. When I met Carter, I thought I'd hit the jackpot. Smart-driven, charming, a self-made CEO from Brooklyn. But somewhere between our first startup pitch and our 5th board meeting, he stopped seeing me as a partner and started treating me like a prop. A look what I got kind of wife. The one he'd flash at galas, then ignore in meetings. And I played along. Until I couldn't. See, what Carter didn't know, or didn't bother to see, was that while he was soaking up praise and pretending to be the brains of the operation I was building, quietly, strategically, relentlessly, I built a portfolio. I studied competitors. I turned whisper deals into equity stakes. I made moves he didn't even notice, because he never asked. He never looked. He never listened. And maybe I could have kept pretending if it weren't for Diana. She wasn't the first, but she was the most careless. I saw the texts. I saw the looks at the office, the long lunches. And when I confronted him, he laughed, said I was imagining things, that I was getting emotional. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I opened my laptop, pulled up the folders. Carter didn't know I had contracts, emails, spreadsheets, projections. Everything with my name on it. And I made a plan. So here we are, back to the gala. Carter's on stage cracking jokes about knowing your lane in marriage. Diana's over by the bar, sipping on a $300 Cabernet like she earned it. And me. I walk to the mic. No script, no notes. Just years of swallowed words finally crawling up my throat. Let's talk about lanes. I said loud enough for the room to turn. Let's talk about what happens when the woman you underestimate is the one who built the road you're driving on. Silence. Carter's laugh faltered. Diana froze mid-sip. I'm not here as Carter's wife tonight, I said. I'm here as the founder of the venture capital firm behind your last 3 funding rounds. I'm here as the strategist behind half the acquisitions your board praised him for. I'm here as the silent partner who's been silent for too damn long. Someone gasped. Good. Let them feel what I've felt invisible in plain sight. You think I stood behind this man out of loyalty? I went on locking eyes with Carter. No. I stood behind him because I thought we were building something together, but he built an empire on my back. Then handed the keys to someone who doesn't even know the value of what she's holding. Diana turned red. Carter stepped forward, his voice shaky for the first time in years. Brielle. Let's not do this here. I held up a hand. No. You. Don't get to silence me anymore. You've taken my voice, my credit, my respect. But what you didn't take was my brilliance, my legacy. And starting tonight, I'm reclaiming all of it. The room erupted, not in applause, in stunned, breathless tension, the kind that settles before a storm. And I was the storm. I walked off the stage, not looking back. Back in my office the next morning, the air smelled different, sharper, cleaner. I stood at the window overlooking Midtown, sipping black coffee, watching headlines roll across my phone. And Carter Ellison's wife stuns industry with surprise power play. Except I wasn't his wife anymore. I'd signed the divorce papers at sunrise, that empire he thought he controlled. Half of it was mine, legally, financially, strategically, but I didn't want half anymore. I wanted it all. A few hours later, Carter barged into my office like he still had authority. "Brielle, we can fix this." I didn't even turn around. "No. You can fix your lies, your ego, your habit of mistaking silence for weakness. But me, I turned slowly. I'm done fixing anything that doesn't serve me." He looked stunned. Good. Because for years I was the one holding it all together. The deals, the brand, the image. I sacrificed my name so his could be spotlighted. I made myself small so he could feel big. But now I stand 10 feet tall, and I did it without raising my voice, without burning down buildings, without screaming for attention. I let the truth do the work. Later that week, Diana resigned to pursue new opportunities. I didn't even bother to respond. She had already taken more of my energy than she deserved. My inbox flooded with messages from women in suits, women in sweatpants, women who had been overlooked, underpaid, undervalued. They weren't writing to say, "Well done." They were writing to say, "Me too." And that was worth more than all the applause Carter ever chased. The thing about being underestimated is it gives you a front row seat to how low people will go when they think you won't fight back. But when you do, when you finally do, they never see it coming. Now I run the boardroom, I write the speeches, I sign the deals, and I do it all as me, Brielle Miles. Not someone's wife, not someone's trophy, not someone's shadow, just me. So tell me this, have you ever been underestimated, silenced, treated like you were invisible? What did you do, or what will you do? Drop your story in the comments. Let's talk power betrayal and the price of being quiet for too long. And if this hit home for you, like, comment, and subscribe, because we're just getting started. I knew something was off the moment he walked into the gala, like he owned the place. Carter Ellison, polished in a custom Navy suit, flashing that smug grin like he hadn't just burned down everything we built together. And there I was, standing in 4-inch heels and a black velvet dress I no longer wore for him, but for the woman I had spent years trying to remember. Me. You ever been in a room full of people clapping for the man who betrayed you? It's a strange kind of silence, loud, dizzying, suffocating. And that night in downtown Atlanta, under a chandelier worth more than my first investment round, I decided I wasn't going to be silent anymore. It wasn't always like this.